Today I'm going to teach you step by step how to make this super cute Halloween wreath. Don't worry, this tutorial is beginner friendly. If you love all things DIY wreath making and crafts, be sure to give this tutorial a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. We've got new tutorials uploading every single week. You can find the full materials list for you below in the description of this video, as well as my Etsy shop link if you'd like to purchase this beauty. Okay, let's dive in. We'll be using this super cute boo sign for our wreath today. So I'm just going to cut off this hanger because we don't need that. And we're going to add a couple of cable mounts to either side of our sign. If you're not familiar with cable mounting brackets, folks, I like to use them when I'm adding a lightweight sign into my wreath. They're plastic on the front. There's 4 points of entry. And then there is some super sticky tape on the back. So I'm just going to place one on each side, and then later when we add our sign in, we'll just run some floral wire stems right through those brackets to get our sign added down into our wreath. Once I get them added down, then I like to add a bead of hot glue all the way around the perimeter of those brackets, just to make sure they don't go anywhere. Then we'll set this off to the side to dry while we work on our wreath. So we're going to start by making our wreath base on this 15-inch work wreath form. It looks just like this. You've got the upper and the lower level and 18 sets of ties on that entire frame. I'm just going to take those lower level ties and point them outward. And then the upper level ties will just point towards the center. We'll be using 2 different rolls of 10-inch Deco mesh today. So we're going to start out with a super cute black with white polka dot 10-inch, and we're going to make poofs. So to make a poof, you're going to lay that mesh down in front of you, scrunch and gather, and then pinch that mesh into your fingers. As you can see, it likes to fray. So we're going to take that tail and tuck it back underneath to hide that raw edge, which will help reduce that fray. Then you're going to come to any set of lower level ties, open them into a wide V, and then take that pinch of mesh, place it all the way down to the center of that V, and give it a couple of tight twists to anchor down your mesh. We'll be adding 8-inch poofs all the way around our base. So I'm going to take a standard 12-inch ruler, place that on the most recent set of ties that I've used, come out to that 8-inch mark, not looking for perfection, and then we're going to pinch and gather that mesh into our hands, which creates this poof. We'll come to the very next set of lower level ties and add that pinch of mesh all the way down to the base of those ties and give them a couple of tight twists, which gives us our first 8-inch poof. We're going to follow that process all the way around the base of our wreath, and I'll meet you back here when it's time to jump from the lower level to the upper level. One of the most frequently asked questions I get here on my channel is people wondering where I buy all of my wreath materials. You guys, the majority of my things come from tmigifts.com. And don't forget to enter my code Nikki20 to get 20% off of your entire order every time. Okay, we've added all of our lower level poofs, and it's time to jump our mesh from that lower level to the upper level. And all I'm going to do is find that closest set of ties where I've left off, pull that mesh nice and tight behind those sets of ties, and then I'm going to anchor that mesh down and give those ties a couple of tight twists. So as you can see, there's no poof, just a nice clean jump from the lower to the upper level. And now we can continue adding those 8-inch poofs all the way around the upper level. Okay, we've got our first layer of Deco mesh on, and how stinking cute is this coming together? Okay, on to step 2. So the next layer, we're going to add curls into our wreath, and we're going to use the super cute orange with black trim and the white window pane. There are 18 sets of ties on our wreath base, and we're going to add 2 curls to every single set of ties. So we're going to need 18 pieces of the white and 18 pieces of the orange, and we're going to cut those pieces at 8 inches in length. Normally I would use my rotary cutter, but it broke, I'm sorry to say. So I've just grabbed my ruler, and we're just going to do this the old-fashioned way. So go ahead and cut 18 pieces of the white and 18 pieces of the orange at 10 inches in length, and then I'll meet you back here. Once you've got all of your Deco mesh pieces cut, it's time to add it into our wreath base. So 1 white curl, 1 orange curl in every set of ties. To make your curls, folks, it's just exactly how it sounds. Lay your Deco mesh piece in your workstation curl side up and just roll that piece into a cylindrical tube that's about 1.5 inches or so in diameter. Just like that. Pinch that between your fingers, then grab your orange piece. Do the same thing, roll that into a cylindrical tube. Then you're going to cross one over the other so you've got that X pattern. Come to any set of ties on your wreath base, add those Deco mesh curls all the way down to the base of those ties, and give those ties a couple of tight twists. So add 2 curls to every set of ties on your wreath base, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, we've got our wreath base made. Look how stunning that is. This is actually called the poof and double curl method. What do you think? Okay, let me spin this camera around so you can see exactly what I'm going to be doing with our next steps. Okay, you guys, let me show you this wreath base from this angle. Look how stinking cute. So the next step is adding ribbon tails into our wreath. I've got this black and white and that super cute Boo Ghost and combination number 2. So we're going to need 9 pieces of each of the ribbon types because we'll be alternating back and forth between the two. And we're going to cut 11-inch ribbon tails. Let me show you the quick and easy way to make your ribbon tails. Measure out the 11-inch mark or whatever length you would like. Mark that with your finger and then fold the ribbon onto itself accordion style the total number of times for the pieces that you need. In this case, 9. Once you've got those total number of pieces, cut away the remainder of your roll of ribbon. And then, knowing the strength of your scissors, keep that stacked together. I'm going to pull out 2 bunches at a time and cut those ends. I'm going to just diagonally cut today. Don't let go of your ribbon stack. Then flip that ribbon stack around to the other side and make those angle trims again. So what we've done here, folks, is just measure our ribbon tails for the total number of pieces that we need and separated them and trimmed our ends all in a couple of quick moves. All right, let's move on to the other 3 ribbons. Following that same process, you'll need 9 pieces of each cut at 11 inches in length, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, now that we've got all of our ribbon tails trimmed and ready to go, let's get them added into our wreath. So we'll be adding 2 ribbon tails to every set of ties on our wreath base, alternating back and forth between the 2 color combinations. To add your ribbon tails, you're just going to lay 1 ribbon on top of the other. Fold that ribbon stack in half to identify the center. Give that a nice pinch so it kind of looks like a men's bow tie. You'll come to any set of ties on your wreath. Doesn't matter where you start, they're all going to get a set of ribbon tails. Add those ribbon tails all the way down to the base of those ties. Give those ties a couple of tight twists. Then use a small pair of wire snips and trim away that excess bit of tie. Then I like to take my fingers and just curl that little bitty nub underneath. And we're going to open up our ribbon tails. Then I like to just run my fingers over those ribbon tails so they're nice and fluffed out, and then we'll move on to the next set. We'll do one more together and then we'll speed ahead. So this time we're going to use our second ribbon combination. We'll lay one on top of the other. We'll fold that ribbon stack in half to identify the center point. Give that a pinch in the middle. Come to the very next set of ties on your wreath. Place your ribbon tails all the way down to the base and give those ties a couple of tight twists. Then using your wire snips, you'll trim away that excess bit of tie, curl them out of the way, and open your ribbons into an X pattern. Run your finger over those tails so they've got a nice curve, and move on to the next. Go ahead and add all of your ribbon tails to your wreath, and then I'll meet you back here. Okay, all of those ribbon tails are added in, you guys. How stinking cute. I know I keep saying that, but it just really is. Okay, one more step. We need to add our decorative sign in. So by now those cable mounting brackets are nice and dry, and we're going to nestle this guy right in the center with a couple of floral wire stems. These are just 18 gauge floral wire stems. I get them in a pack from Amazon. And all we need to do is fold that stem in half just to identify that center point. Run that right through that cable mount. We'll give it a couple of twists just so it doesn't go anywhere. Then we'll do the same thing to the other side. And now we can nestle it right down into the wreath. You can add this anywhere you want, folks. I'm just going to place mine in the center since there's no other embellishments. So you're just going to take your time, poke those floral wire stems right down through the wreath base where you'd like it. Flip it around to the back side so you can secure those floral wire stems. And then we'll see what we've got. Once I've got those secured down, I'm just going to flip it over, make sure that sign is still centered, and it is. So we can come back around, give those floral wire stems a couple more tight twists. I can trim off those excess bits and throw them away. Then I like to grab my needle nose pliers and just curl those ends back under so we don't get poked or scratch our door. And this beauty is finished. What do you think?